Greetings, Ranger fans. Jake here, and welcome to another Database Rangers Power Reviews review, where I will be once again providing live commentary to my classic Database Rangers Power Reviews episodes. Are people having trouble seeing the stream, or is it just... okay, there we go. It should be fine. So welcome to Sean, Joel, Lex, Scott, Aronde. Good to see you all. So we are now officially at the 25% mark. We're a quarter of the way through. Hey there. Okay. I was concerned a little bit. I guess I was a few seconds late on the stream. People got a little antsy. Good to see you all. So, yeah, it's hard to believe it, but we are now a quarter of the way through these live stream commentaries, which means we're a quarter of the way through this 100-week journey to finally getting to the final episode of Power Reviews in October of 2022. So, knocking on wood, fingers crossed, we'll make it the rest of the way there. I have been in touch with my actors. I have two of them that I need filming with. One of which I will be filming within the next few days. The other one, we're trying to nail down a time for this week. But once I get that second time confirmed and everything's going smooth, I should be able to finally confirm a release date for episode 93, so you can all find out what this next review is going to be. And then we should be on track for episode 94 to come out right at the beginning of the summer, episode 95 to come out right at the end of the summer, and then episode 96 by the end of the year. So, yeah, it's hard to believe we're trucking right along. I'm also continuing to rack my brain as far as what I should be, as far as what scripted videos should be released in between Power Reviews episodes, because I do still want to hold to that at least one scripted video per month, and obviously I put out a bunch of those for Dino Fury, but now we are into the hiatus, and I'm playing around with a few different ideas as far as what I want to do for some hiatus videos. I don't know if anyone has any requests. I don't know if people want to see more deeper looks or rapid run-throughs of classic episodes, so I'm considering possibly doing those by request, possibly finally updating my Patreon to incorporate that. Or maybe something with conversations in context, or even some other new things that I have that have been brewing in the back of my brain for a very long time that I'm considering as possibly doing for, to celebrate the month of August with Power Rangers Anniversary and, stuff coming up with Power Morphicon. So I'm really not sure what I want to do yet on that front. So, yeah, Dan, it looks like you just joined us. I was just saying for 93, I did get confirmation for one of my two actors that I still need to film with, but I'm still waiting on the other one to get back to me, and then I should be able to lock things down with a date for 93. So it should be out this month. It is coming along very well editing-wise. I just need those pickup shots so that I can finish it. And once I have them, it should be, a 2-week turnaround max, I think. This also marks the last full week that I am teaching for the rest of the school year. I am still going to be teaching, but I'm only going to be teaching part-time up through the rest of June, because I will be taking my parental leave for half weeks to take care of RJ while MJ returns to full-time work. So they've been on part-time, I've been on full-time, now we're swapping, so I'll be on part-time and they'll be on full-time. And so hopefully that'll open up my schedule to continue prepping things for the summer and getting us towards the end of Power Reviews, both in terms of the last few scripts I need to finish up and the massive amounts of filming that I want to try and get done this summer so I can finally wrap filming and then just have to worry about editing from there on out. So, yes, you are correct, Scott. It is almost time for Emma's song, so we should dive on into that 25th episode of Power Reviews. But first, as always, we need to go with our 3 equally non-controversial phrases. So, these should all be phrases we can all agree should be equally non-controversial in this day and age. So, number 1, say it with me, chat. Black lives matter. Number 2, say it with me, chat. Fascism is bad. And number 3, say it with me, chat. Superheroes are fun. 3 things that should be considered equal to say. Now, with that all said, let us dive into the 25th episode of Database Rangers Power Reviews, where we take a look at Power Rangers Megaforce Episode 6, Harmony and Dizchord. And go.
Previously on Power Review.
Welcome to our home.
It was stolen. If there's anything I can do to make it up to you, you make sure to let me know.
Power service.
Until then,
I will let you know that I have a great deal of valuable electronics in my
Oh,
house.
you've got some ideas on what things you'd like for me to review? Oh, that might not be a bad idea.
I can call away on business and have to start packing immediately.
where are you going?
Far away.
And now, Database Rangers Power Review. Greetings, Ranger fans,
Salutations.
and welcome to Power Review.
Classic couch
Where you
review.
just can't lose if you choose to hear our views, not on
Ah.
who's, but on the daily from the Rangers that power through each half hour till we
Wow,
stop
Commander
dropping
O's,
down
was that?
to be out and leaving.
And if you don't stop now, I swear I'm leaving.
Sorry, I just thought it might be nice to commemorate our 25th episode with a little.
That there you go. Database Ranger dropping some bars there.
Milestone to be a valid excuse for assaulting my eardrums.
Fair enough.
So let's just stop this giant turkey. And see
Oh
if
my
the
goodness, I can't believe I
Megaforce
actually had her say that.
Sure, go right ahead. No, wait, don't tell me.
They got new Zords.
I'm not surprised.
Perhaps because arsenal expansion has been
Uh,
the narrative progression to have
that-
been established thus far.
I feel like that line didn't age
Hopefully
particularly
we'll
well.
finally get the plot moving today with
I mean,
episode 6 of Power Rangers Megaforce.
There is always something.
And is for-
Have to emphasize the Z there. There's always something fun about a character rapping incongruously with how they would otherwise behave. Like Database Ranger doing goofy. Okay, yeah, I didn't think that O's was contemporaneous with Megaforce. I thought that the O's was back in 2011. So I think I just needed something that rhymed. Oof.
I am not going to like you.
Looks
No,
like
you
all
are not.
appearances to the contrary, the Insectoids aren't huge fans either, and decide to use Dizchord's music.
And yeah, Tino, I was thinking that
Forest,
I was actually going to comment with the Jane rapping thing. I think one of the things that could have. She has a very nice voice. Christina Masterson has a very nice voice.
Just crossfade her own voice.
I think the greater question here is what
I-
sort of botanical mystery is causing flowers.
I think one of the reasons that Jane's rapping didn't quite work as well is just because
You're right. That would be
Jane is the kind of person who would try to do that to sound cool. And I always find it way funnier for somebody who normally wouldn't do something like that. I think it's usually funnier if it's a coming from a nerdier person rather than someone quite so gregarious as Jane. As much as I actually do enjoy Jane in Dino Fury.
There is something seriously wrong with that. This is intolerable. I'll be in the other room.
Wait, don't leave me here.
I'm trapped. Database is trapped in the review.
The noise is causing much more pain to Troy and Emma than it is to the others.
Oh, O's did air. That's true. It did air concurrently with Ghost Sager.
They hurry the civilians to safety and start smack talking the monster.
This
We'll see about that.
I like to.
These people are really
One of the whole ideas behind
Dizchord
Kay being all ridiculous with this was the whole fact that she has such a strong musical background, musical ear in universe with her violin playing, that it felt like it would be appropriate for her to be really annoyed at musical Dizchord.
Did they hit anything? No? Really? Wow, that was really lucky. The Power Rangers could have destroyed a building. Or something. The monster counters with a blast that forces a demorph in Emma.
Now, the other reason that I was playing with the whole Dizchord driving her away
I think so.
was because I wanted her to go off into the bedroom to retrieve the documents that she's going to be talking about in a moment. You know, that was going to, that's sort of our little, one of our main little teases in this episode as we continue to push the plot forward.
But even banishing the bashful boomboxers isn't enough to mitigate Emma's migraine. Well, there goes my theory of the voiceovers of the last few seasons were just part of their samurai ventriloquist training. At the brain freeze, Troy is hurting just as bad.
It is weird that Troy is so much more affected by anything.
Thank you. Why is she so good at that?
Because she's very, you know what? Never mind.
I wonder if there's a connection here that they'll elaborate on later.
No.
Meanwhile, the insectoids the local amphitheater.
I feel, having not seen Ghost Sager, honestly, watching this now kind of makes me want to go back and see Ghost Sager just to have a little bit more context for some of the ridiculous things that happen in Megaforce. Because it feels like a lot of this is driven by them being angels in the original material, and specifically Troy and Emma being part of the Sky Tribe, I believe, in the alternate version, with their alternate counterparts. Yeah, everything with Brock was also pretty messy. They did not do a good job of explaining what the deal was with Brock and his changing forms. This...
Buenos Aires, Kyoto, Baghdad.
Wait, where are those cities?
Oh, I was just looking through our largest passports to keep my mind off the north.
I have so many questions, I don't know where to start.
At the dock, the pain-stricken Megaforce red is inspired.
I forgot that bit. That whole thing about Guy having multiple passports and traveling all over the world.
In case circumstances were not absurd enough, not only is she able to make the Baron freeze block, but apparently her unamplified voice is also able to completely drown out.
This is such a weird thing to adapt. Like, yeah, they were angels in the original material. They had the Sky Tribe, and I could see that connecting to sound. But, like, without any of that, why can a random teenager make the flowers bloom? Why do we not have any explanation for this? It's so strange.
Speaking of the world over, where did you get Guy's passports? And why am I pluralizing?
I have no information on the latter. Although I found...
And yeah, that is the Africa set, I believe, from Roman... Well, actually, I'm not sure if that's the Africa set. I think that was just green screen. I think that was just a lot of green screen.
The Rangers unite their three weapons into a compact Megaforce blaster to drive away Brack as their compatriots morph to join the fray. Together, they further weaken Dizchord before destroying him with a completed Megaforce blaster victory charge.
There we
Which,
go.
of course, cues our next set, as Brack lets loose the Zombats to take things to the next level. Let's go. First,
What?
no, you don't. Not unless you don't think you're going to survive the door battle. And if you don't move quickly, you won't.
Indeed. Some conversations...
It's always weird when the Rangers just choose to put a pause on random things.
Precisely. They summoned Megazord and countered Dizchord's sonic attacks with some percussive techniques of their own.
Also, I do always have fun with how dodgy early K is. Not that she was forthcoming with things for the majority of the series anyway.
Admiral Malcor is having none of it.
I mean, even in the most recent episodes where she's appeared in episode 91, it makes it clear that she hasn't shared everything with the other Rangers, or not with the other Rangers, with the other characters.
I am not amused.
And that's the end of our episode. So, what did we think of it? Well,
It was the most atrocious and barbaric, calamitous incident excuse for grading.
I
Hatefully insane,
had
just
so
killing
much fun
the
writing this.
Music, noted or performed, quite resembling screamingly tall, undulating vocalizations and xylophonic yodeling zebras.
I loved writing that so much. I don't know why I decided to do that, but I had so much fun writing that.
I agree. One place
Because I just ran through the whole alphabet, just trying to think of just how to make the longest possible complaint about something. And I'm just like, I'm gonna use I'm just gonna go through the whole alphabet as I go through these insults, and I'm really, really pleased with that. And MJ delivered it perfectly. Obviously, it took a bit of practice to get down, but that was just so.
If I hear that doorbell ring one more time, I'm installing it with a taser.
And there's that line.
Hi! We were just walking down the hall.
If I.
We couldn't help but notice your music. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I being too
Oh, the more Potsners.
It's just that we were wondering. Could we get it on 8-track? I suppose I could make you an MP3.
Oh, the more Potsners.
Oh, no. Just one will do. I'll figure something out. Thanks.
Okay, one thing I don't think I've mentioned is that, Justin, who plays Mitch Morpotsner, loves puns. That's one of the reasons that we're friends after all these years, is that, he's actually my big sibling in Honor Society from college, and we were paired up because of our mutual love of puns. And clearly we've been friends for a very long time since. So whenever possible, I love to give the more Potsners these little Amelia Bedelia puns, like, I can get you on MP3. No, just one will do.
Well, I agree this episode might not have been the best use of their time, especially considering that they only had 20 episodes to adapt a full set.
Yeah, this one is such a blatant filler episode in so many ways.
Playing over the battle against Rock was a surprisingly pleasing juxtaposition of tone that we don't often see in PR. And there were a number of good character moments sprinkled throughout, including the implication of his mother, Rock's continued rivalry with Street Fox, and
There were so many things with these characters that we were just hoping was leading to something else. And then they never got developed any further. I was really giving Megaforce the benefit of the doubt for the first 8 straight episodes. And also just, honestly, any potential that Megaforce demonstrated during the first 7 episodes was basically totally squandered the moment that Robo Knight was introduced. And it's really it's really unfortunate.
Clearly obsessive compulsive, with erratic behavioral tendencies.
Oh, come on. That one wasn't even that far-fetched. And I thought we were done with the whole psychoanalysis thing.
Oh, no, these are notes from our largest lockbox.
Wait, what?
Oh, this is interesting.
Wait, hey, is that about me or make sure you're
I loved playing up the mystery of Guy during these early episodes.
Hey, wait, what?
And there we go. And that was episode 25, where once again we are, and this is where we're really starting to seed bits of mystery a little bit more. Guy was just sort of, this mysterious character. But up until this point, it could have just been joked that, okay, the mystery, his character is just tight-lipped, and that's just the joke of the character. But here in episode 25, we actually start to get things going. Like, wait, is something going on with this guy? Is there something that's actually like being set up right now? Because this is one of those few times where it feels like there's stuff being set up, not just, each episode just sort of rolling from whatever is set up by the previous one. And yeah, Who's Crying Now will be coming up next. So that one will be next week. But yeah, I guess I basically, as I was going through, I knew that I wanted to have the K disappearance at the end of Robo Knight. And so I wanted to make sure that I had various things prepped leading up into that. So right now I have, Database getting more paranoid. Next episode, we're going to actually ratchet up some tension between Database and Dr. K so that we can have the big blowout in episode 27. And then we get to our, rotating through the various new characters. And it's also just fun because there were so many little things that get to be set up that pay off that you wouldn't expect to see paid off. Like Dr. K's seeming joke about how the next time the doorbell rings, I'm installing it with a taser. Yes, I did know that I wanted to have that taser in there 20 episodes later. I basically planned out that I wanted year one to be 40 episodes, because in my mind that was the standard Power Rangers season length for a good chunk of the series, and I wanted to aim for that length. It felt like a good goal. So I knew that I was going to have, that summer season stretch, and then I was going to return, and so I sort of was counting off, okay, which episode is this going to happen in, which episode is that going to happen in, and I, had my general idea and general notes for how everything was going to pace out across those 40 episodes. With little bits that I'm like, okay, this will be worked out. Once I see the episode, I'll get a little bit more of the gist of what the gimmick's going to be. Harmony and Dizchord, I didn't really end up drawing too much from the episode itself in this particular case, outside of the little rap at the very beginning and the more Potsners at the very end, who I wanted to make sure to bring into this episode because we'd seen Guy and Mayo so prominently in the last few, and this was the first time we'd see the more Potsners since the housewarming party. And I wanted to make sure that they were well established as recurring characters so that it would make sense for them to come in as special guests for the 31st episode as a guest host. And yet, Who's Crying Now is I honestly feel one of Megaforce's stronger episodes, and I'm going to talk about that when we talk about it next week and how that analysis played out. But yeah, I wanted to make sure to play up the weirdness of the more Potsners a little bit more, how they were kind of out of sync with how the world works. Playing up that innocence, that sheltered innocence that they seem to have, which we now know is just them struggling with how to human. Honestly, one of my favorite things that I got to do with the more Potsners years later, and it's just a small moment. Obviously, their origin was a big thing that I spent a lot of time working up to, but one small little moment I love from episode 82 is as I knew I wanted to focus on them for that episode, after having had the big reveals and everything, and then us getting to see them outside of the control of the demon that was controlling them. And we got that little moment of them getting ready to head to the holiday party. And they stop and they look at their wedding photo. And they don't quite understand it, but they know that it's important. They just have this little moment of sadness and recognition after finally being free from demon control. being, and but still not fully remembering who they truly are. And that little humanizing moment was one that I really wanted to make sure to hit after we finally have the big reveal of them being the bad guys, and then them being reformed. And I wanted to have that moment of, beneath this bizarre and sometimes creepy veneer, there are still real people buried under all that. But that was obviously well down the line. And here, they're just the sort of goofy, out of touch people who are picking up the song from Harmony and Dizchord, which we will hear again in another 11 episodes. Which I don't think that I was deliberately foreshadowing that. It was just when they do pop up again, it just felt very appropriate for them to play it in their car. Also, no, you're not going to be seeing RJ on screen. They are still far too young to be making any decisions regarding appearances on YouTube. So yeah, there's definitely some fun stuff in that. But yeah, this one was a little bit of a lighter one before. Obviously all of these early episodes are still pretty light. This one, compared to episode 24, was much lighter because I didn't have Guy and Mayo playing as the big major roles that they played in the previous episode. I just had that one little cameo from the Morpostners, and otherwise it's just straight up Database and K with the mystery of Guy building up. Meanwhile, Dave is still off in Japan vacationing during this time. And it ended up being a little bit of a tight schedule to make sure that we had everything lined up for when he would return. Which we have when we have Guy's welcome home party a few episodes later. And that welcome home party was sort of a real welcome home party in certain regards, because Dave had been away in Japan for a few weeks. Welcome, Athena. And welcome, Power Rangers 5673. I hadn't said hello before. But yeah, we're just about wrapping up and dying down, unless anyone has any random questions or anything they'd like for me to address. Yes. Yeah, Dave's been to Japan a couple times, I know. He's back in college. Like every time that I would, not every time, but it felt like half the time when I would be like back home, visiting my family back in college, I'd try to meet up with Dave, and he'd be like traveling in some other part of the world. He did a lot of traveling around back when he was younger. Now he's settled down with wife and family. So he's busy with other things, just like I am now. Yeah, back then, Dave's a cool dude who's done a lot of cool things. And I'm glad that I've had him as a friend for all these years, and that he's been so willing to dedicate time to this series over and over again since practically the beginning. Being first introduced in episode 4. So yeah, this whole run is really just sort of slowly seeding the little mysteries of the show, before it becomes clear that the show is actually going to explore the mysteries and not just string the audience along. As we will see as we enter the big alphabet soup arc, and K's appearance and disappearance, and the kidnappings and the secret agents and the battles and all that crazy stuff that's still coming down the way, that hits right as we hit the like 1/3 point. So right now we're a quarter of the way through the series, but once we hit a third of the way through the series, that's the end of Act 1, beginning of Act 2 for Database Rangers Power Reviews, where the action finally hits. And I'm looking forward to leading up to that. But for right now, it's just fun looking at this character work and enjoying how much the show embraced the humor of reviewing Power Rangers back in the day. And I really do look forward to eventually... I look forward to trying to recapture that, hopefully, in some future episodes and future video projects. Because I do feel like this channel has ended up leaning far more into the analysis, and we've lost a bit of the humor, and I do want to try and get back to that. Not sure how. Maybe just, lean into it a little bit more with the rapid run-throughs, maybe toss a few more jokes into the deeper looks, but I aim to entertain if I can. So, all that being said, we can tie things off, call it a night, but not before we do our remaining 3 equally non-controversial phrases. So, number 1, say with me, chat, love is love. Number 2, say with me, chat, trans rights are human rights. And number 3, say with me, chat, robots are cool. So, thank you all again for joining me for this continued walk down memory lane. And I look forward to seeing you all next time. But till then, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.